Já imaginou como será a cidade onde vive no futuro? Que papel terão a tecnologia e a inovação na melhoria da vida urbana? Ao celebrar 20 anos de atividade, a Porto Digital não quis apenas revisitar o passado. Quis, acima de tudo, lançar um olhar ousado sobre o que está por vir. Nesta série de podcasts, convidamos especialistas nacionais e estrangeiros a refletir sobre os grandes desafios do nosso tempo e sobre o papel transformador que entidades como a Porto Digital podem assumir no desenho das cidades do futuro. Num conjunto de conversas francas e inspiradoras, exploramos ideias, antecipamos tendências e, sobretudo, alimentamos a esperança num amanhã melhor. Junte-se a nós. Vamos celebrar o futuro. Especialista em políticas urbanas e territoriais, a italiana Federica Bordelot é conselheira no Eurocities, organização na qual trabalhou durante 8 anos, e diretora de Política e Impacto no Conselho de Municípios e Regiões Europeias. Dedica-se principalmente a promover iniciativas na área da transformação digital e da inovação e ganhou uma grande experiência na construção de pontes entre governos, instituições e organizações. Federica, welcome to this podcast. I was talking about how you gain this experience building bridges between governments, institutions, organizations. I love bridges. I think they help us going from our side to other people's sides. First of all, I would like you to explain your current work at the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. And if you like to, also you could tell us about your experience with your cities before and now also, because you collaborate with them.
So thank you. Well, first of all, let me allow me to actually express all my excitement to be part of this project. I'm really happy to be part of the work that Porto and Porto Digital is doing. I've been working many years and collaborating with Porto Digital, and it's nice to see and to be part, of this journey, if you like. So I'm Federica Bordelot at CMR, so the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. I'm Director of Policy and Impact. So together with my team, we work really for the benefits of municipalities, cities, and regions. So for the local level, the CMR is an organization that it's a network that brings together the national association that represent municipalities and regions. So it's what we call an umbrella organization. And we have 60 associations all over Europe. Europe, not EU only, so not only the 27 member states, but really geographically speaking. And so in 41, indeed, countries. And so we work on a number of different policies that are important for cities and municipalities and regions that really affect them. So, I mean, from the environment, water, waste management, to mobility, but also employment, gender equality, migration.
Right
yes.
now, it's an issue. Yeah.
All really important focus key topics, for people at the end, And digital transformation, innovation, smart cities is, of course, another area of work. And there, what I'm doing is really to develop and to ensure the implementation of our policy strategy. So ensure this coordination, among all the different policies, and to ensure that the voices of municipalities, cities, and regions are heard also at EU level. So dealing with the EU institutions every day. And then also, I'm also responsible for the, let's say, growth of our work, and to ensure that there are no silos, because we don't work necessarily only on one policy area, and we don't work only on lobby and advocacy, but we work on projects.
With one technology.
Of course.
Everything is instrumental to
to the mission. The mission is really our people, and the people. So I'm working at CMR since a year now, but before I was a Eurocities, the network of major European cities, and I've been working on digital transformation for over 8 years, and really working on many different areas as well, and topics on cross-cutting on policy projects, knowledge sharing, and really trying to advocate as well there the needs of cities towards the EU institutions, and the needs specifically on how to ensure that digital tools, digital technologies can really serve people.
When I look at the scope of these organizations where you worked and work still now, this universe of European cities is very diverse in size, in needs, in capabilities also, and autonomy. It depends on each country's legal and administrative framework. Yeah? But is there any common ground where cities should be talking and working with, even with this huge difference between the biggest ones and smallest ones, almost of the size of villages in some countries?
Well, when we talk about let's say the territorial level, we like to talk about local and territorial level. It's true. There are many different realities, let's say, but global challenges impact the same at territorial level. It's really the effect of the global challenges at territorial level are pretty much the same. So they do share the same challenges, basically. And we can look at many of different challenges. If I think, to me, the most, the mother and the father of all the biggest challenges for me are, of course, the environmental crisis, the climate change, and then the social crisis and the social issues. So in respect to this, when I look, for instance, at the territorial, how really the let's say the environmental challenges and crises and the climate change is really impacting territories, this is huge. This is really huge. And it's not just a matter of the effects that are happening at territory. We are in Spain, right?
Yeah.
We are in Barcelona, and we
not far from Valencia.
From Valencia,
even
yesterday, even in Barcelona, there were floods. There were, so these are real concrete examples, of what climate change is really impacting territories. And related to this, there are enormous costs. There are resources that are scarce. And we need really, the impact is there. So it's cities, municipalities, regions is really, they are dealing every single day with the effects of these global challenges. And very much related to that, because when we usually talk about the green transition, then we also talk about the digital transition.
Yeah, it comes
straightforward, but sometimes what is not really taken into account is all the social issues and what all this transition, the effects of all these transitions have to people. And this is extremely important to really see, because you will never achieve your objectives in terms of green,
you will have a revolution first.
Exactly.
Because people will be against it, because they feel they are excluded from the path we have to.
Exactly. This is really, without people, you cannot achieve your targets, no matter which target you put and at which level you put them, right? So this, for me, is really a ground where cities and municipalities really need to cooperate and to collaborate to ensure that their voice are heard.
That's my next question. We know, let's look at the European Union region. We know its architecture, its political architecture, but given the growing rate of urban population, is the European Union giving cities itself the attention and the funding they need to help in this to achieve these targets we're talking about, for example? Are cities having the amount of attention and money to do the work
Yeah.
they could do?
Yeah. Well, cities are more and more heard at EU level, but there is what we see that is really missing is a real collaboration. What we call it usually, it's a multi-level governance collaboration, because the point is that cities among themselves can reach until a certain point, right? They can find solutions, they can develop their own strategy and implement solutions. But of course, I mean, they are part of a bigger ecosystem. They are part of different and bigger realities.
Yeah, region, countries. Yeah.
Exactly. So they are part, they are one piece of the puzzle. So it's only through real multi-level governance collaboration, so only talking and finding solutions, with the other level of governance, that all this what we were talking about, all the problems to their challenges can be found. So what I'm really looking at and what I think is really crucial is at this stage is to really close the gaps, close the divide. There are many divides, many gaps between people, between territories, and what is really important to look at now, it's really to ensure that there are no inequalities, that there is no social polarization, because all this, I mean, if we don't really look at people, are their rights, as I was saying before, we will not make any progress in all our challenges.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. You were saying also that sharing knowledge and experience is a way of sparing time also,
Yeah.
because we don't have too much time to achieve our goals. 2050 is around the corner. Are cities taking advantages of the existing networks, or by your experience, do you think we should create more ways of collaboration, more networks? I don't know. Are the instruments we have, these organizational instruments, enough for?
Well, I think that more and more cities are really understanding the need to collaborate, to be part of bigger ecosystems, to be part in this globalized world. I mean, you cannot just stay, in your own territory and work and deal with your own problems. So they do participate in many different initiatives at a national level or a European level or a global level. And also from the EU level, they are understanding the importance.
They foster it?
They are. So let's put it this way: they do recognize the importance, the growing importance of cities, and that their voice need to be heard. But what we are experiencing lately is that there is the many different initiatives are flourishing, right, on many different topics. What is needed is even from them to break the silence, to collaborate more between these different initiatives, to ensure that there is more collaboration and more talks and more one united, if you like, objective to go together, towards that objective that is for the cities, for the territorial level. So I do believe that the growing interest, and the perception, of the need of having the city's voice and the city's priorities and needs heard is there, but we need to still find, like a common, if you like, approach to ensure that then this is really translated also into practice and into realities for the territory.
Okay. They have this recent initiative, the missions for
the Smart Cities Mission, what we call it, the 100...
net zero cities to accelerate transition
Yes.
in at least 100 cities in Europe. I saw it as a way of putting some effort and some attention
Yes.
on good examples that those 100 cities could give to other 1,000, I don't know,
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Because there are...
No, those initiatives are key. I mean, are really important for the cities to engage with the EU, but also for them to develop their own plans and to then implement, their it's a path, towards, for the 100 Smart Cities mission is really to achieve climate neutrality, and it's of course a journey, right? But then there are many different factors. It's not just, you can't have only a strategy. You need to implement it. You need funding. You need much, much more. And then, when we talk about the green transition, it's huge. You can think that cities alone can achieve all this. This is...
They can pay for it.
Or that they can pay for it. It's impossible, of course. And this is still, I'm... over 500, I think it's 580 billions. The budget that has been seen by the EU, allocated by the EU and the member states for achieving the green transformation. How can we think it's only for the cities, or for even only for the member states? Let's say only for the public governments, to really ensure that this transition is made. It's a huge amount of money. We really need the private sector, the businesses, to invest in that and to create public-private partnerships and collaboration to really go together towards the same goal.
Mm-hmm. Let's focus a little bit on digital transition. It's a area where many are having huge profits also, and that money is not pouring on society.
Not always.
Not always.
Let's say.
Not always. I want to talk a little about digital transition, but keeping in mind, obviously, its role on energy and economic transition also. We are dealing with big challenges regarding data collection, as you know, and management, data management also, and also related to the respect for citizens' righs in this new economy. How can cities and their citizens take the most from the opportunities that this new digital economy brings, without being trapped by the big players in the market?
So when I think about digital transformation, this is really my area of work. Has been my area of work for more than 8 years. I've always worked with technologies. What I like to say is that I worked with, for, and by people. So technologies it's just a tool to really ensure that to make better lives for people, right? This is might sound a slogan, but it's really how it should be conceived,
to
right?
help a migrant get his papers faster and initiate his life in a new country. Of
course, to have better public services, to really enjoy their life in cities, to ensure that there are not, weather emergencies or disasters, because you can predict, you have the data to do it, So for me, when we talk about technologies, really, and looking also at the future, what really it's there, it's evident, it's the power of artificial intelligence and of data. For me, this is really, and 5G as well, for all the autonomous vehicles and the mobility.
The connectivity,
and the connectivity. But so when we talk about, for instance, talking about artificial intelligence, the potential is huge. The potential is huge, really, to predict, to revolutionize, our life, how we conceive even our way of life. Of course, we need to also pay attention to all the associated risk, because the potential is there. But if we don't pay attention at what could potentially all happen, with a wrong use of artificial intelligence, this is the consequences will be devastating. And I'm of course, I'm not thinking at all the different, let's say, advancement of ChatGPT or all these kind of things that we are used to hear, but really about the privacy, the protection, the security of people and their data.
The existence of parts of our lives where eyes are not watching us.
Yes.
We should have, I don't know, this isolated island at night, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Of course.
Because nowadays we are data producers, 24 hours a day.
We produce data every second. We are producing data now. We are producing data.
Even when I sleep with my mask, I have problems sleeping. The guys in the company told me, now we can read your data remotely. What?
And it's scary, right?
How many hours I'm sleeping? Of course, they have it in a disk, but it's different. I must go there, but now they can register and surveil me every night.
Yes. But I like to see the power of data. I like to really see how data can really be used for the people and really can be used to make our life better. When I was working at Eurocities, we worked a lot on how to improve sharing of data, because many data, as you were saying, many data are produced every day, every second, by everybody, by machine, by people, using apps, everything. But many of these data are not used or are used by private companies, and they are not shared, they are not accessible. So what is really important is to have in place the right regulation and the right opportunities to really ensure that the data are more accessible by all, they are more used in the right way. So also data sometimes it's a very abstract concept, right? We don't necessarily understand what it is.
I got it.
But it's important also to really understand how the quality of data is also important, to raw data or real-time data, because if I have all data, who cares? I cannot really use them.
You use information. Someone has to work with it and give me information with that. I don't care for data. I, as an end user.
As an end user, you need a product. You need what you can do with those data, of course.
And that's the question. But raw data, I don't know. I would love to have some example of the space we would need in the world, the physical space we would need to the amount of data that is produced every day, in a single day, today. But as I said, an important part of that data is being kept by companies that collect them, and we don't know what they are doing with it. I don't know what some companies, not the one with my nose mask, because I know what they do. They help me to sleep better and they take care of my health. But others I don't know.
But it's more like it's scary. A waste. It's not necessarily scary. They might develop extremely important and effective solutions, but the fact that they are the only owners and that they do own and keep the data, for themselves, this prevent others to develop even more solutions, And when I'm thinking about the public governments, the importance of accessing those data is really...
They have to pay for unique solutions.
Yes, and you pay for the solution and you don't pay for the data. If you could pay only for the data, the raw data, then you could develop your own solutions, right? So it's really a matter of ensuring that those data...
also.
Indeed.
Economic equity.
The point is that data should be seen as, when we talk about data as the new oil, right? I mean, data should be really seen as a source of, let's say, a piece of a bigger puzzle that can make really life better of all the people. So the data should be really seen as one of the people's rights, So accessing those data, using those data is a right.
And do you think we are doing... we are making good efforts to guarantee these rights, the European Union with the Data Act?
Well, we have a number of course. I mean, the
question is how it is put in practice.
Yes, I mean the previous European Commission, the one that just ended, put in place and launched a huge amount of regulations on digital and on digital transformation. I mean the AI Act, the Data Act, cybersecurity. I mean on a number of different topics and technologies, and this is extremely important, but. The point now is to really work on how to ensure that all this regulation is implemented and is implemented rightly, right? To ensure that digital rights are safeguarded. There are great initiatives, I think, like the Coalition for the Cities Coalition for Digital Rights. This is an initiative that really launched at local level by a number of cities. It was launched here in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It's
the founding.
Yes.
One of the founding fathers of it.
I think it was more than 5 years ago. It was launched by an initiative of 3 cities: Amsterdam, Barcelona, and New York, to really ensure, because they were really looking forward and they could already see the potential of these technologies, but also the related challenges and problems, indeed, that they could come. And these initiatives are extremely important for all the cities to really share experiences and to develop together tools that can ensure the safeguards of digital rights.
That's nice. Well, I was telling before that we became data producers, data users, even not knowing it.
Yeah.
And most of us...
Of course, most of us don't know. Don't realize.
In the city of Porto, they published this recently to present it here in Barcelona. They started this project installing in some streets, in some points of the city, these signs with information about how is technology interacting with people in that place.
To make them aware
of what data is being gathered by what kinds of equipments there. Transparency became a key issue in these days.
Yes, so? It is because if you don't ensure, I mean, this is extremely important to have
and basic.
Yes, it's basic. Sign. Yes, it's just a sign. But this grow trust in people. If they understand the technologies, if they feel that they are there to help them, they then become much more closer to the technologies. They will use it more.
Yeah, they will give the data that is needed.
Indeed.
Instead of switching off.
And they will trust their government. So indeed, they will give the data that the governments need. And this benefit everybody. At the end, is going back to them and benefiting them, as people.
That's nice. You were talking about technology as a tool, as an instrument only. One thing that I'm always thinking about is how we can assure that these multiple and urgent transitions, including the digital one, don't leave more people behind. Probably, as you know, many people fear that if we don't tackle this question of inclusiveness, we will be pressuring the social care systems of each country that are paid by everyone, and also opening the excluded people hearts and minds to the populistic rhetoric.
Yeah.
That's an issue nowadays in many countries. Do you agree with this?
Of course. I mean, this is not a risk; it's a reality. I mean, it's really what we see. We have seen with the latest EU elections. We are seeing also with many other elections, at local, at
the
national
Gilets jaunes
level.
in France some years ago.
Yeah, the point is always the same. If you don't listen to people, or even if you promise something to people and then you don't respect your promise, then this is really what you will leave them behind, and you will turn. You won't find anyone, behind you. So this is, I mean, the services that you guarantee to people is. And the needs of people are extremely important. You need to listen to them. You need to ensure that they are part of the project. I mean, they should be seen as the first, and the only step, that you make.
And also, I think you told it before. This not only part, but the center of public policies.
When we go and advocate the needs of cities and regions and municipalities towards the EU, sometimes they look at us like, about what is really for, and
it's a political fight between cities and regions and the regional level.
And then what they don't see is that our common client, is the people.
And that you are closer to people.
We are. It's definitely we are much more than them.
The subsidiarity way of working. Yeah?
Of working, of course.
Supposedly. And let's look at this last part. I want to know your opinion about this. If cities can be kind of a safe hub for these changes we are talking about, bypassing the uncertainties, the doubts, and even the setbacks in some cases of some national governments. We are facing it in Europe, but also in other parts of the world, where governments they set back from agreements they made. We had it in the United States during the Trump administration. I'm avoiding to say the first Trump administration because I really
especially
don't.
on today.
Today, because
today.
I hope there won't be a second one. But if you remember, it took the country off the Paris Agreement.
Paris Agreement, yeah.
And at least I read news of cities in the United States trying to keep on the path, trying to keep working for the transition.
Yeah.
That's another reason to benefit cities in the context we have, in the political global context of uncertainty we have now.
Well, it's a different way of seeing cities, if you like. I mean, cities are progressive. Cities are really hub of innovation, where solutions are made, where cooperation are made, where the SMEs can create, where research and education is really spurring. So it's cities are all this, and it's thanks to them that sometimes that's why we always advocate for their power, because they are game changers, in the society. They are, as we were saying before, they are the level closest to the citizens, and they are there to really cooperate and collaborate and create those solutions. However, it's really also, when we were discussing at the beginning about all these global challenges and the effect and where all these policies needs to be implemented. They are implemented there, in the cities.
The territory, yeah.
And but the problem, as I was saying before, is that alone they don't have the means. They don't have all the means, the capacities, the skills, to to really ensure that all the big benefits are really brought to a huge amount of people. So when we talk and when we think about cities and their power, is really also important to see what they are lacking of, and sometimes is really the need of developing the more and more capacities, skills, and develop. And it's not only in terms of digitalization; it's capacities all over. Cross-cutting, yes, governance. And if you really need to invest in some things, is to invest in to reform, the all the system that can provide them with new capacities and new skills.
Okay. We are almost closing this podcast. It has been a very nice interview. As a final question, I would like you to share. It's not easy, but you are still young, I imagine. So, your vision on the future of cities. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Porto Digital. Let's look the next 20 years. In these areas you are working with, how do you imagine it will be in 20 years? I don't know.
Well, I see the cities still as a huge hub of co-creation, of innovation, of digital transformation. Cities, if we think about 2050, over 80% of the population will live in cities. So cities will become really the place for the people, and really where people want to live. However, at the same time, we also need to look at the demographic change and the fact that people that are living in cities are not only young people, they will be also aged people.
We will be older.
We will be there, and we will grow up. And so the needs that and the services that are needed there
must be adapted.
They need to be adapted for all the population. And for the different needs. I'm thinking about housing. Housing is really becoming an emergency and a real issue. It's not only about the cost of living, but it's also even to find a house. There are no social houses anymore in cities. It's all Airbnb, and it's becoming. Tourism is great, is important, for our economy.
Till a certain level.
But until a certain level, we really ensure that people have a house. House is a basic need, right, of people. So I'm really looking at the future. I'm positive. I'm a positive person usually. So
I heard that Barcelona, by using data, they managed to approve a law limiting new Airbnb licenses because they detected how many legal and illegal
yes.
people were putting their houses. And when they figured the real number, by data.
Of course. That's the beauty of the digital.
They could take the right decision in this moment. That is regulate, stop.
Yeah. This is not only for Barcelona. There is a huge number of cities in Europe that unfortunately are sharing the same challenges. I'm thinking about Vienna, Berlin, Prague.
You believe that we have the means, the information, and it's good to take to make good decisions based on good information and not in whataboutism or what we think. Imagine that reality is, but we think we have the means to, in 20 years, for example, to solve a problem like that one
Of course,
housing?
we do have the means. I mean, digital technologies are advancing so much, but this is also about collecting the data and analyzing the data, and all this information are accessible. But it's the point is, once you have the data, what do you do with all those data, right? I mean, the point is really to ensure that then you develop specific policies that can really help the people. And so solutions can be created, but they need to be created, and we need to find solutions that are really adapted for the needs of everybody. So this is the challenge for the future.
Thank you, Federica, for celebrating the future with us.
Thank you.
A reflexão sobre o futuro da cidade prossegue com outros convidados. E já sabe, pode encontrar todos os episódios deste podcast no site da Porto Digital e nas habituais plataformas de streaming. Acompanhe-nos. Let's celebrate the future.